The weekend. This is a politically important case. We're going to bring you more context. Karnataka police are currently seeking more time from the district court in Chitradurga for recording the statements of two minor girls who lodged a case of sexual exploitation against a prominent Lingayat Seer. Let's take a deeper look.
ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ಅವರು ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸತ್ಯ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
He is a very noble man who has done some great contribution to the state.
Heat mounts on the rape-accused Lingayat Seer Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru. He's been dealing with these allegations over the weekend. The Chitradurga police have booked the prominent Lingayat Seer and 4 others under the POCSO Act over the weekend. This is after they received sexual assault allegations from 2 minors, one of who also belonged to the Dalit community. The Seer came out yesterday. He addressed thousands of followers who'd gathered outside. He said that he is innocent. He's claimed that this entire situation is a conspiracy against him. Protests erupted in Chitradurga. This is after police inaction meant that for more than 72 hours since the FIR has been registered, no arrests have taken place. The Seer was briefly detained, but he was released shortly after. We're also seeing most political leaders refraining from making comments, though B.S. Yediyurappa did seem to come out in the Seer's support on Sunday. Very quickly, take a look at reactions that have come.
Anger is growing against prominent Lingayat Seer Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru. The chief pontiff of the prominent Muruga Mutt in Karnataka's Chitradurga was detained after he was booked for allegedly sexually assaulting minor girls at institutes run by the Mutt. He has been booked under sections of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. The complaint was filed on behalf of 2 minors who reached out to an NGO in Mysuru. The girls, aged 15 and 16, were staying at a hostel under the Muruga Mutt. They were allegedly sexually abused for over 3.5 years. After they narrated their ordeal, it was brought to the attention of the District Children's Welfare Committee. Apart from the Seer, the FIR was also registered against 4 other individuals, including the warden of the institution. But the Seer remained adamant. He addressed his devotees who had gathered at the Mutt premises and claimed that there was a long-drawn conspiracy against him. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai was tight-lipped on the matter, saying the truth will come out.
2 ಕೇಸುಗಳನ್ನು ಪೊಲೀಸರು ದಾಖಲೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಾಗಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಲಿ.
Even Congress State President D.K. Shivkumar didn't criticize the Seer.
I have seen that he is a very noble man who has done some great contribution to the state. Let me not interfere with whatever the police or the government is doing late.
In the run-up to next year's assembly elections in Karnataka, both the Congress and the BJP have been trying to woo Lingayats. They make up nearly 17% of the state's population and can determine the poll outcome in 90 to 100 constituencies. But will that come in the way of a fair probe against the Lingayat Seer? Or will the fight for votes come before justice?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದ ವಿಚಾರ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಚೌಕಟ್ಟೇನಿದೆ, ಆ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಚೌಕಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಹೇಳಿಕೆಗಳು ಬಂದಾಗ ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇಂಥ ಘಟನೆ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಿಮವಾದ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಾದು ನೋಡೋಣ.
My colleague Ritu, who we spoke to a little while earlier, she's live outside the Muruga Mutt in Chitradurga this morning. Ritu, thank you so much for joining us. Ritu, I'm given to understand that members from the Oda Nadi NGO who helped the victims come forward and make their claims with the police, I believe members from the NGO are saying they're now not being able to contact the victims. Could you provide us with more clarity?
Yes, you see, The girls first from this particular place, that's the hostel that which is located to left hand side of mine. In fact, so the girls moved out of this hostel without informing their parents and anyone at the hostel and reached directly to Bengaluru's Cotton Pet police station, and that's where they put out their words to the police, and the police says that this does not come under their limits and thus they will have to reach out to the police in the Chitradurga itself. So there they try and contact the NGO in the Mysuru that we're talking about right now, Vardanadi's Seva Samaste. There they go and tell this out all that to the member of the NGO, and the NGO in fact then comes in contact with the DC of the district collector of the Mysuru. In fact, and we also must appreciate this kind of a step coming in from the district collector of the Mysuru, where he took this up forward and in fact ensured that the FIR in this case has been registered, because on the other side we're getting to see the kind of a delay that is happening in this case from in the Chitradurga from the police. So this is the biggest question that has been raised against the police here in the Chitradurga and also against the state government. So this is all that we're getting to see on the one side, but of course these girls who tried reaching out to the NGO there in the Mysuru then police actually transferred that whole case to the rural police here in the Chitradurga, because this falls under their limits, and now the investigation is on that we're getting to see. But what is the biggest question over here is there is no sort of an action that we're getting to see. It's almost been a 4 days of that the case has been registered and FIR has been registered. The seer seems to be very much at this mutt. Even now he is also present inside the mutt, because this is a very sensitive case and we have never seen in such delayed action in this particular issue, where we're getting to see Mahazar in fact process being taken over in the presence of the accused itself. So you see yesterday too the CWC and the police took up the Mahazar process here at the mutt, and it went on for almost 3 hours, and meanwhile the seer was also present at the mutt. So this is the biggest question that has been raised against the state police and the state government for not taking up an action. Is that because of that the Lingayats here in the Karnataka play a major role, and with all that is that a powerful mutt that plays a role, and why is there been a delay? So that's the biggest question that has been raised.
Ritu, thank you. An appalling situation right now playing out in Karnataka, as my colleague Ritu just highlighted for us. Politicians not commenting on it because of the political importance and the power of the Lingayat community in Karnataka.